Okay, we are set. Okay. Hi, Facebook friends. I'm Ruth again. So here I have a special guest today. Even though that I receive a challenge, I accept to make the interview with my broken English because it's so helpful for all my people. Even though they don't understand the language, I'm gonna translate later during the day for you because she have very unique information that I consider so vital for all of us, especially for Hispanic population. And I love this topic because I feel so related because most people don't know other options when we talk about cancer. So my guest is a specialist in cancer. She's also a health coach, and I just want to introduce her to you. And I wanted that she explain to you what she does and how can be benefit and useful. If you know somebody with cancer, if you have a family member, if you are passing through this disease, is a time that we allow us to understand that we have other different options. It's not always like conventional medicine and Western medicine. We're going to talk about cancer through the holistic perspective today. So my guest is Jeannette Carbajal with us. So I'm glad to have you here, Jeannette.
Thank you so much, Ruth, for having me.
Yeah, sure. Tell us, what is your job? What is a cancer coach? What is that?
Mhm. So, I mostly help people who are struggling with a recent diagnosis or that their diagnosis has hit a curveball. Now, the diagnosis that I'm mostly known for is cancer. I've also worked with many terminal and chronic other diseases and conditions. And what I do is I help the patient and their families move forward so that they can feel calm with walking a roadmap that really gets them to a place where they feel safe and comfortable, maybe not even just with the diagnosis, but walking into a place of where they have more health freedoms. Health freedoms can look like minimizing symptoms. It can look like getting off certain medications, and it could also go into how to learn to take your own medicine at home, which is really plant food, your environment, your biopsychosocial life.
What is the difference? When you mentioned that, it's very curious because through the holistic perspective is very different to what uh, our governments and what we learn in our through our lives.
Mhm.
What is the difference between what you teach and what conventional medicine teaches?
Okay, so the reason what I do is considered holistic is because I'm not treating anybody. I'm not, practicing medicine or anything like that. It's everything else that happens outside a doctor's office, as in helping your family get on the same page with your healing plan, having your family support you in the best possible environment, having you work with the mind, body, and soul, in addition to using the food, your mindset, what you're hearing, what you're smelling, the position in what you're sitting in, all that can really contributes to you healing. So that's considered a holistic perspective. What's different from what I do than what some people will call conventional is that the conventional medicine side is really going to focus on symptom and treatment management, right? There's a presenting problem, we have something to fix it. Awesome. That has been what the world has used for many, many years. And a lot of people are learning that they want to symptom manage without the side effects of how to treat it. And so the difference is that they focus symptom, giving a silver bullet, or a symptom, giving something else without addressing everything else. Like, what causes you stress? Is a certain protocol and process your physician or your naturopath has you on? Is it really sustainable? Is it taking you 12 hours of labor to actually feel like you're getting the proper amount of nutrients if you're doing like a raw juice cleanse? It's also just in the conversation, that toxicity that happens at home, along with your environmental toxins as well.
Yeah, it's that's super awesome because sometimes what we learn is like just follow what your doctor said. Like, is no other hope, and we lost the perspective that we are mind, body, and soul as something that we struggle the most. And I feel very related, but because anytime they hear the word cancer, instantly what comes to my mind is death. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. And if the doctor says, okay, chances are that you could live 3 months, 6 months, like how can that kind of prognosis, how can we fix that if we had chances to fix that? How can, what is the common patient that comes through you to work when they have that situation?
Yeah, I always say, every physician goes into medicine with a spark of wanting to serve, right? Serve from the highest body. So they're all well intentioned, following a specific system that is just hasn't caught up to what we now know that health and healing is really biopsychosocial. Your biology with your psychology, along with society, is all really contributing factors. Now, so I just want to make it very clear. I'm not poo-pooing on conventional medicine. There's a time and a place. So back to your question is that when there is a diagnosis, take your diagnosis seriously so
Mhm.
that you can take the proper actions to move forward. What I do want to say is when you do accept a diagnosis, reject the prognosis because nobody can really tell you how long you have to live or anything like that. I've had many people in the past who've told me, hey, my friend, my best friend, my cousin, the doctor told them to have 3 months to live and they were healing. They actually died on that exact day that they were told they had 3 months to live, and they did an autopsy, and there was no cancer in his body. So the mind is very, very potent and powerful. So as long as you can, remember, take the diagnosis seriously so that you can implement and activate the proper healing plan. Then you can also make sure that your prognosis is something that you take control of, and nobody else can tell you what that is or what that can be. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I think that it is amazing what you do, because people need support, people need guidance no matter what disease is. But when we hear that kind of disease, like disease that have a lot of possibilities that people connect with, die and no hope and feel hopeless,
Mhm.
like the support is very important, because what are you doing is like giving them to help, I mean, and hope and motivation, and like reprogram their minds in
Mhm.
order that can find any hope and don't close to the last conversation that probably they have with the doctors.
Yeah, so I'm gonna hit 2 points that you said really, really potently. The first one is that um, there are hundreds of ways, hundreds, and I'm not saying this lightly, and I get how big this number is, but I would say there's about a hundred different ways that people have healed cancer. It's just figuring out what's yours. So I'm not in the mindset of 100% conventional or 100% holistic. I believe in like the root way of healing her health issue, the Jeanette way of healing her issue, and no two people are going to have the same medicine. I've had some clients who've told me, Jeanette, I know that my affirmations have changed my life and really helped me to heal. I've heard other of my clients tell me sound therapy and sound medicine has helped unlock and accelerated even their conventional treatments as well.
Hmm.
So every single person has their own unique algorithm, if you want to call it, because it's an entire formula, because it's an entire lifestyle that allows health and healing to come through. So with that being said, I hope that that allows you to feel a little bit more secure and safe that next time you hear somebody has cancer, whether it's somebody in your family or someone from afar, let them know that there's so much hope, but hope only happens when you take back control.
Hmm.
So if a practitioner or anybody tries to tell you anything, just tell them, thank you for your opinion. I know my truth and I know what I'm going to do too.
Love it, love it. How can we remain in calm and peace and on control when we hear the word cancer? Like, because I guess that the most common facts and the most stronger is the fear.
Right. And it's the fear of the future changing. So we all grow up, and people say you grow up, you graduate high school, you either go into work or some people go into um, uh, some kind of educational, right, advanced education. And then like you're supposed to get married and you have a family and then you like retire and then you have like all your golden years left. When you hear a diagnosis like cancer, everything kind of the future feels like it gets washed away. Financial security, family plans, your identity, what you did for work is now shifting and changing because you're not knowing if you're going to go back or be able to carry the same thing. So when you feel like the world is either on your shoulders or you can't even think straight because you're in your mind, the first thing to do is to get out of your mind. You need to get back into your body. So any kind of like walking, movement, stretches, I know it sounds like it would be nothing compared to what's happening in your mind,
Mhm.
but it really is getting back into your body. So even doing some shaking to really move that
The energy.
you're able to take this very expressive. I'm sorry.
No, that move, the energy, because it's energy. What the fears,
Yeah,
that kind of strong emotion. Look,
yeah.
what happened is like brought us a strong energy, force of energy in us.
Yeah, absolutely. And energy can be positive and it could be negative, and we have the power to transform it as well. So if it's in our head negative, just try to shake it out of your body. Some people do kickboxing. I like to do boxing, to really move it out of my body. It's emotion that's in my head that's causing me some kind of turmoil, getting it out in a physical way. Once you do that, once you have a time where you could let out an exhale, whether it's exercise, whether it's, any other kind of somatic practice, which is movement of your body, you are able to then set into this little peaceful, calm state where you can then be like, okay, what are my options and what should I do next? Because you still have this positive, feel good endorphins feeling, helping you feel stable to then take an empowered action step for your life.
Yeah, that sounds very like you bring to people like hope, and that's amazing. We have a previous conversation. I was talking with Jeanette before this interview, and she was mentioning something very interesting, that some of their clients, they're not necessary cancer patients. Rather than that is doctors that uh, getting training with her to in order to learn how manage cancer disease in other different ways. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say it's managing cancer, it's managing the lifestyle around a diagnosis.
Okay.
So, yeah, what I do is I do train quite a few practitioners. So, they're nurses, doctors, coaches, anybody who's really looking to help this increasing population. Over 75% of the world will have a diagnosis in their lifetime. So, a lot of practitioners teaching them my method of how to help patients calm down, get into a place of empowered state to take the proper action steps forward, how to use my proven 17-point roadmap in order to help people really go from a disempowered state to an empowered state.
Yeah, that's very powerful. Um, I would. What is the common thing, like emotion situation, that you notice it during this period of time working with people? What is the common uh thing that you notice? Because we have a conversation the first and that blow up my mind. But tell us, what was the factor that you see in people over and over again with comes with that disease?
Okay, so the easiest way for me to put this, because there's many ways to do it, and I'm going to say the simplest way. A lot of root of dis-ease within our body or within our mind is unprocessed emotions.
Hmm.
Period. It's
Hmm.
it's the suppressing, therefore disease is expressing in a certain way. And so it is that process of not processing emotions, whether it was a childhood trauma, whether it was a conversation that we just ruminate with and just continually put it in our head. I should have said that. I would have said that. How dare them say this? These things are unprocessed because they're just floating in our mind. So it's really about completing circles, completing processes, and either having closing the chapter on certain conversations in our mind or memories and really neutralizing them. Um, that's
Yeah,
really the
because
beginning
I
stages.
always said, like, to all my people, like, all our health start with our minds
Yes.
and our emotions. Like, if you don't know how manage your emotions, that
Hmm.
emotions stuck in your body and
Hmm.
create energy, and that
Yeah.
energy is not in movement, it's stuck in your body, and in some way the energy have to manifest it and goes out,
Yeah.
and sometimes it goes through disease.
Yeah, so Stuck energy is actually considered in like traditional Chinese medicine as cold spots in your body. Now, if we know our body has to be at a certain temperature. Depending on where you're looking, 98.7, 98.9, depending on how close you are to the equator, right? Our body temperature. So when you have several cold spots in your body is not able to properly function. It's almost as if you have like pretend a whole working body and you have a frozen liver you got out of the freezer and you put in it. It won't be able to process the toxins and processes life around you. So as long as you're able to move from negative emotions stuck in your body and move them out of your body or transmute them into a positive through doing a lot of the teaching methods that I teach, which is really taking back control of your emotions, most specifically, because dis-ease, all types of dis-ease, whether it is physical or in the mind, is really the reason why 75% of emergency room visits, no, 80% of emergency room visits are stress related because
Mhm.
of people not able to manage their emotions and what's considered their environmentally sensitive.
Yeah, I always say the same thing over and over again because nobody teaches. I mean, nobody teaches how important it is. They teach us about history, science, but something so important for being healthy. And people have the misconception that health is just about food, the way that you eat, the exercise, and everything that put your body in movement. But in fact, your health starts with your state of mind and the emotions that you generate.
Yeah, I heard an amazing quote. One of my first mentors told me, "It's not about what you eat; it's about what's eating at you inside."
Wow, I never hear that. I love it. Yeah. So now Jeanette is launching a program. So she teach people and health coaches how to manage that. Jeanette, can you tell us a little bit about what are you doing now?
Yeah, so I do have a current mentorship where I am looking for 5 people who are looking to get into helping those who are either sick or in pain in some way or another and becoming health and life coaches for them so that you could do it ethically, efficiently, and most specifically, making an impact to allow patients to take back control of their health at home.
That's super awesome. It have to be coaches or if I enter, yeah.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have to be coaches. So
Okay.
it's I've mentored quite a few practitioners, doctors, physicians, nurses, therapists because they want to become coaches. So
Okay.
certain professions with licenses has a certain rule set that they have to follow, and coaches are allowed to do quite a few other things. And because of that luxury, a lot of people in medicine are actually also opening up additional businesses to be coaches as well.
Yeah, that's super awesome. So if I feel like related and resonate with that, eventually I can start with you and probably I can still doing the coaching stuff because I feel the call to help people that with like you that have this unfortunate disease that affects too much people and the well-being in overall the family everything. So
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
I'm gonna leave after down the link for contact Jeanette just in case if you know more about her program, what she does, and you wanna contact her one on one. I'm gonna put the information down here so
Thank you.
chances are that you can take advantage of her amazing program because we need more people and education to uh, spread the hope and it's not everything is the in the end. I mean, we have hope and but we have to honor our knowledge and empower the knowledge and our disease and our body is
Yeah,
our responsibility, is our just for us.
yeah.
Something
It's
else
our
that you
right.
want to but
I just want to say it is your right to heal.
it is your right.
And so when you are working with any of my practitioners, people that I've mentored or myself personally, you know when you get to understand what it is to have a right to heal. And so we kind of help you walk that roadmap together. It's really gentle. It definitely takes time, and it is a whole person approach to healing. So if anybody's interested, please reach out to me. My website is JeanetteCarbajal.com, or you can find me on Instagram where I'm posting daily different ways of expressing healing and releasing at Healing Mindset.
Amazing. I mean, yeah, we need people like Jeanette that spread compassion and hope in the world. We have so much fear and people hopeless, feeling hopeless. So definitely is something that if you can take advantage of, you hear, if you know a family member, don't feel the hope and take the chance to contact Jeanette and for further information. Definitely, we love to serve you, and she also loves to serve you for sure.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so much,
so much,
Ruth.
Jeanette. Thank you for all of you that are watching this video. Thank you and have a beautiful day.